All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, let's talk about the Arnold Classic a little bit, specifically a potential lineup at the Arnold, specifically Derek Lunsford, runner-up at this year's Olympia. Now, up until now, I had heard that Derek was a maybe for the Arnold Classic. And now, after seeing him on Fouad's podcast, it sounds like he's a no. His exact statement to Fouad in regards to the Arnold Classic sounded pretty much like he's not doing it. He said, "Where we place next year, I do not know. I do believe I could be the next guy in line. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm working for. As far as any other shows in between now and the Olympia, I told Hani that I would be willing to do the Arnold. I would like to do it, but at the same time, I don't want it to take away from next year's Olympia." He's in agreement with that. So Derek wants to do the Arnold. And he was a maybe up until now. And based on what I've heard of the Arnold Classic lineup so far, I think it needs Derek in that lineup to add that really, the it factor to that lineup. And we will get that full lineup coming up this Friday. And I would assume by Friday we'll have a final definitive answer from Derek, and maybe his name will be on that list. But if you look at the most recent update from Derek, 2 weeks after the Olympia, he's still in really good shape. He's still got really striated glutes, a lot of separation, a lot of detail still in that lower body and those hamstrings. Still got a crazy back, of course. That's not going to change. But he's still holding on to relatively pretty good conditioning. And right now, what I'm hearing, the two best guys in the Arnold Classic lineup that we know of publicly so far, Shaun Clarida, who is your 212 Mr. Olympia, and Samson Dauda, who was 6th in the Open Olympia. All right, guys, today's video is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan Law Firm. Did you know that in 2020 there were over 5 million car crashes? That's more than 15,000 a day and 600 per hour. Those in an accident can be entitled to more than you think, and that's where Morgan & Morgan comes into play. When you're injured, you deserve compensation, and the size of your law firm matters. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm with over 800 lawyers and 100 offices nationwide. The best part is Morgan & Morgan's fee is completely free unless they win your case. Over 3 million people trust Morgan & Morgan, and getting started is easy. You can check out the link in the comment section below for more information. Outside of that, there's a couple of maybes, but to my knowledge, no other confirmed top 10 Olympians from Men's Open doing the Arnold. Now, Clarida doing Open is interesting to me, especially at the Arnold Classic. We saw him do this Legion Sports Festival, but I'm going to be honest, I don't think that was the best lineup. I thought it was impressive for Clarida, a guy of his size, to beat guys that were 100 pounds heavier than him and win that Legion Sports Festival last year. But honestly, I don't think that was a super tough show for him. I think the Arnold Classic is a little bit tougher, and I think if you had Derek in that lineup, you've got some really good storylines for the Arnold. And like I said, you look at this update from Derek, he's still in incredible shape. It's not a stretch for him to hold his condition and just do another quick Arnold prep and probably come in, be the favorite, and potentially win that show relatively easily. But you would at least have the storyline of you've got this wild card, Shaun Clarida. He won the 212 Olympia. Derek has won the 212 Olympia. Derek is now the runner-up in Men's Open. It would be interesting to see them go head-to-head from a conditioning standpoint on an open bodybuilding stage. That's a good storyline. Samson gets another shot at one of the top guys. A lot of people think Samson could have placed higher than 6th or should have placed higher than 6th. He would get another shot at the runner-up at this year's Arnold Classic. So if you want to see Derek do the Arnold Classic, tell him that or comment that in the comments of this video. And if he does do it, you guys can buy the pay-per-view right now. I'll put a link in the description box below. The pay-per-view is normally $59.99. Right now, it's discounted to $49.99. But fans of the channel can save another 10% if they buy it early, if they buy it now, with code NSP10. So $49.99 discounted another 10%. So again, the weekend of the show, it'll be $60. But if you buy it early, ahead of time, you get a pretty deep discount. The Arnold has gone to pretty great lengths to reach out and really try to help out channels like mine and other bodybuilding channels. So if you guys appreciate what they're doing and kind of the outreach that they're doing for us right now, supporting our channels, support them. Buy the pay-per-view. Those pay-per-view sales are very important to their bottom line. And of course, cheaper than the Olympia. Now, we did get, next up in the news, we did get some physique updates from Akim Williams. And Akim is another guy that I heard is doing the Arnold Classic. And he says first update of 2023. Obviously, he would be prepping for a show. I think if he's posting updates, he rarely ever posts physique updates. Akim is a guy that could be a factor here. But like I said, outside of the top 10 at the Olympia, I believe he was one of the guys tied for last. And I believe there's some other guys that tied for last that are thinking about doing the Arnold or committed to doing the Arnold. I think these physique updates now at the beginning of the year after the Olympia are probably confirmation that we are going to see Akim's name on that competitor list, something we're not unfamiliar with. We see Akim on that list a lot. But look, I'm going to be honest. Akim has all the muscle in the world. He's got a pretty good structure for a guy as big as he is. But to be completely honest, his conditioning was way off at the Olympia. He's very inconsistent with his conditioning. And the year that he was first call-out at the Olympia was really one of the only years I've seen him really nail his conditioning. And because he had been so inconsistent with figuring out that formula and finding that perfect recipe for that conditioning, that's why I haven't really had much faith in him being a top placer at a lot of these shows, because while he's done it once or twice, he has not done it consistently. He's been competing for like 10 years as a pro. And he actually reminds me a little bit of Lionel Bayecki in that sense. He's a guy that's got this great structure, plenty of muscle, but just so hit or miss with that conditioning. When he's on, he looks incredible. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But he's off more often than he's on, which is the issue. Could he be a factor at this show? Could it be interesting to see him next to an ultra-conditioned Shaun Clarida? Of course. In all likelihood, will he be a factor? I would think probably not. Now, would I like to see Akim put it together and be a massive factor at this show? Absolutely. Look at the guy's front double bicep. If this guy came in peeled, of course he'd be dominant. But that's always the question with some of these bigger guys, is if he came in peeled, if he came in shredded, he would destroy these guys. But then with a lot of the case with a lot of these bigger guys is they never do. But then again, it was what, like 8 years with Big Ramy that we were saying, if he comes in shredded, he's going to win it, and then eventually he did. Now, next up in the news, 3 more recent physique updates from Lord Jones, a.k.a. Brian Jones, who was a first call-out Classic Physique Olympian, a first call-out Arnold Classic Physique competitor, one of the top guys, one of the bigger guys in Classic Physique. Now making the transition over to men's open bodybuilding, and he's been posting kind of sporadic physique updates. It seems like every 3 or 4 months he might post something. And now we got 3 more updates from him at over 250 pounds. I believe 253-ish. You got a side tricep, a most muscular, and a side chest. And again, this is a guy that I'm very excited to see his men's open bodybuilding debut. I think crossovers between classic and men's open can be very exciting ones, because a lot of these classic physique guys are so good in that division because of their structure alone that they have like a really good V-taper or a good X-frame, and they just have very broad shoulders, wide shoulders, small waist, crazy round muscle bellies, good lines, the things that make a physique classic, but they're limited by that classic physique weight limit. So you take these guys that might be taller, might have really good lines, might have really good structure, you take them, take away that weight limit, what's the reason to believe they're not going to be incredible in men's open bodybuilding? And I think there is some likelihood that Lord Jones, and I just feel so corny saying Lord Jones, Brian Jones comes over to men's open and does very well. I think that is a possibility. And again, I think that might lend more possibility to Chris Bumstead potentially doing an open show. Now, he did say in an interview after the Olympia, or I guess it was during the Olympia backstage with Flex Wheeler, that he would only do one for fun, an open show, if it was close enough in proximity to a classic physique show, the Olympia, that he was already prepping for. He would maybe jump in an open show, but never exclusively focus on an open prep, because he said he's already pushing his body to have enough size for classic physique. He doesn't want to push it any further to compete in open from a size standpoint. So the question is, could a classic physique guy like Chris Bumstead be competitive in open as is? A taller guy that is heavier, why could they not be? Derek Lunsford weighed in the 230s, and he was runner-up at this year's Olympia. Hadi Chupin was probably close to that, probably maybe in the 240s. I think Chris Bumstead could probably weigh somewhere around there in a men's open show if he was still prepping for classic. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. Would you like to see Chris Bumstead cross over and open? And the final story that I have for you guys today, I wanted to congratulate the giant killer and two-time 212 Mr. Olympia, Shaun Clarida. He had a baby today. He's now a father, which I would say is probably more impressive and important of a job than either of those two Olympia titles. So congratulations to him. I know that was a big deal for him. And to come so close in proximity to his Olympia title, his Olympia win. I believe he even said his wife couldn't be there for the Olympia because of this. So I wanted to give him a shout out here as well. So that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you leave a like and thumbs up this video if you did enjoy it, and it helps out a lot. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. That helps out. Click the bell notification icon if you never want to miss an upload. If you want to support the Arnold Classic, which is going out of its way to support YouTube channels like mine, buy the pay-per-view early. Go to the Arnold Sports website. If not, buy some merch. Buy tickets to the show. Whatever you want to do to support the Arnold, I think that would be great. I would appreciate it. They would appreciate it. And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.